identity and the ideology of atheism. Because without it, you cannot believe in atheism. You have to believe in that evolution. You have to become a Darwinist in order to become an atheist. And once you become a Darwinist, then it becomes easy for you to deny the existence of God. Why? Because why would you want God if this creation have developed from a non-creator? That's it, there is no need for God. Toss him out of the window. End of the story. Right? So now you have to believe in something else. So what do you believe? You believe in spontaneous reactions and mutations that take place in the world of, these species that brings them about from nothing. That's basically what they are trying to say. So there is no need for a creator. Don't even think that you need a creator. Don't even contemplate that this universe in fact has someone that controls it. So what do you become? Tell me this, brothers and sisters, logically. Forget religion, forget Islam, forget Christianity, forget Judaism, Hinduism, Sikhism, all the isms in the world, all right, that represent some sort of religious ideology. Let me speak to you logically, right? Logically. If there is no God and there is no one to govern this world under a system that is fit for a God to run this world with, then what do you become? You become your own God. You start to assume that position of being your own God. What does that entail? See, the problem of supporting the theory of evolution is in fact creating a world of anarchy and chaos. Today, do we have a standard that we call ethical or moral standard that govern the world that we live in? Do we have? No. I'll tell you. What you see as wrong, other communities in the world will see as what? As right. What you see as right, others in other parts of the world see as what? As wrong. Why? Because there is no ceiling, no authority from which right and wrong disseminate from. So we become the perpetrators of what seems to our own mind right and wrong. I'll give you a very simple example. And I will use Australia as an example, okay? And sorry to use that example, but it's a living example. I went to Australia in 1978, yani almost 34 years ago. 34 years ago, homosexuality in Australia was banned. It was listed under the Health International, there is a name for that International Health Agency, that homosexuality is a disease. You know that? It was listed under the International Health Agency that homosexuality is in fact a disease, or was in fact a disease. It is, whatever you want to call it. Okay? 30 years down the track, through the evolvement of different laws and ideologies in our, down under legal system, all of a sudden homosexuality changed from becoming a disease to becoming a sexual preference. You have the liberty to choose what dictates your sexual preferences. Do you want to be with a girl? Do you want to be with a man? Or do you want to be with a male? Or does a girl want to be with a girl? You choose. You choose. Girl with girls, boys with boys. That they call it what? A sexual preference. انت بتنقي مثل ما بدك. Okay? Now, this is the question I want to pose to such legal systems who legislate away from a particular order or authority that commands and dictates that haram is haram and halal is halal regardless. Right? Haram is haram from the inception of the world, or halal is halal from the inception of the world. It will never change. Okay? There are certain standards and ethical, moral standards in the world that are not subject to change. And yesterday I gave an example, or 2 days ago in the lecture hall. I said 2000 BC, 2000 before Christ, if someone stole an apple in the markets, what do you call him? Thank you. If someone today goes to Best Buy and steals a USB, what do you call him? What changed between 2000 BC to now? Nothing, right? These are called moral standards that are unchangeable. You cannot change them. You cannot call a thief all of a sudden a professional. Man, you can't. But in today's world, we have changed these words from a con artist to a salesman. Isn't that what it is? I may offend some people today. But what is a salesperson? A con artist. He is selling you something that is unsellable. Sometimes, not all the time. Right? A salesperson will make you believe that this battery is the best battery in the market. But it is not. What do they call him? A professional salesperson. But who, in fact, what is he? A con artist. Because he's lying to his bones in order to sell you this battery. Right? This happens, why? Because we compromise on certain moral standards. Okay? The world will also see further compromise on their moral standards maybe 20 years from today. I'll give you an example. You look in all the societies of the world, you examine all the legal system of the world today, and there is a term which is so great today. Everyone is marching behind it, and everyone is holding it high in order to defend it, support it, maintain it, and keep it as a moral standard. Pedophile. Pedophilia. Every single human being on the face of earth, other than those who practice pedophilia, of course, they say pedophilia is what? Halal wala haram? Haram. No, a'udhu billah. How can you take advantage of a child for your own sexual drives and what have you? طيب. I can make an oath on the Quran today, because I have no doubt. 20 years from today, pedophilia will become a sexual preference. Why? Why? It's logical. I'm not a genius coming up with a formula that no one has thought about. It's a fact. Why? Because once we compromise on a moral standard, then we can compromise on any standard. Anything could happen. Anything becomes changeable. Nothing is fixed anymore. Nothing is fixed anymore. Everything becomes changeable. Because we do not allow ourselves to be governed by a being that is powerful and knows us inside out better than we know ourselves. So what is the alternative to that? And we don't want that being. People and certain prominent members of the world that we are living in today do not wish to see this happening. So they came up with the theory of evolution. Come up with a theory that is rival to the creational theory in order to confuse the living daylight of every human being and create so much rift between people of the same world who are sharing the same world, right? To have issues against one another to the level of what? To the level of dismantling each other's humanity. to the level of creating so much friction, hatred, resentment, animosity between those who believe in a God and those who do not believe in a God. And the agenda does not stop there. No, the agenda continues towards achieving the elimination of those who believe in God. That's the whole idea. So the reason why evolution is maintained on the agenda is not because it's scientific, but because it serves as a fountainhead for materialism and atheism. To put it in another way, evolutionary propaganda is carried out for ideological purposes, not for scientific advancement. Not so that we can advance scientifically, no, so that the ideology can be pushed forward and advanced. Those who claim there is evolution so firmly established are unaware that 100 million fossils refute the very concept of evolution. Some Muslims even are led to believe, and almost every Muslim student in college or university is led to submit with the knowledge of the 1940s and 50s that evolution is a theory confirmed and corroborated by science. That's what they want you to believe in colleges. Sah wala la? They give you evidence, they give you proof, they give you comments, they give you studies, they give you research in order to make you believe undoubtedly that evolution is scientific and purely scientific, to such an extent that when a sheikh or when your mom or when your dad or a sayyid or a marja or the highest religious authority comes to speak about evolution, you in fact, or some people in fact, mock him. They say, شو بعرفه هذا؟ أنا يروح يحكي بالوضوء. Let this guy talk about the rules of wudu. Let him talk about the rules of tahara. Let him talk about the rules of hajj. Let him talk about the rules of, tawaf. But يا عمي, evolution بدنا ناس. Evolution needs academics to speak about it. طيب, we'll see these academics. Let it be known, brothers and sisters, and especially our students, for one thing, that the evolution era is not an idea that first emerged with Darwin. Throughout history, all materialists have maintained that living things formed spontaneously from stone and earth, and those life forms supposedly descended from one another. In a nutshell, that is the idea of the theory of evolution. I'll repeat, that living things formed spontaneously, yani by themselves, haphazardly. And imagine what? Imagine this, brothers and sisters. Today, I had a flat tire. Okay, I wasn't driving. Rashid, my buddy, was driving. We had a flat tire. Anna, imagine, and I wish I did this for the lecture today. I wish I waited for each and every one of you to arrive in the hall, or all of a sudden I would be bolting into the hall, running towards the pulpit or the podium. وحش كمان شوارع nearly having a heart attack. وينو الشيخ اليوم؟ مين who hijacked him؟ ليش ما إجا على القاعة؟ I'm bolting or running, and then I come in front of us and say, hey guys, you know what happened today? Khair Sheikh, where have you been? Wallah, I had a flat tire. And we couldn't find someone to fix it. So all of a sudden, we found spontaneously some living creatures coming together, forming themselves into rubber and placing themselves on the wheel. Definitely Sheikh Jan. Definitely Sheikh صار في شيء اليوم. يا حدا عاطي إبرة. Okay? If someone gave him a medicine that doesn't work, haram, بلش يخرف الشيخ, he doesn't know what he's talking. Obviously you would say that. If I'm going to come and tell you spontaneously something came out of nothing, then you will sit momentarily with yourself and say, hold on Sheikh, don't abuse our intelligence. صح ولا لا? Don't abuse our intelligence. We are intelligent human beings. What gives you the right to abuse our intelligence? This theory suggests Not in the way I'm putting it, so simplistic, but